Okay, we'd like to welcome you to STG Weekly recap live at Anime Expo, brought to you through generous support of Rockin' Android and Anime Expo. So, guys, yeah, let's maybe go talk about our brief history of soft drink. Why don't you take it away with STG Weekly Live?
Okay. Um, STG Weekly Live. This is our fourth live event. It was just you and me at first, Frenetic, and that was Pacific Media Expo, probably like 6 months or so ago. Um, we uh, we started out there. We just kind of wanted to put shmups out there, like get a little more people involved. And we're like, hey, there's a lot of anime conventions, and why don't we try going to one of those? You know, people there might like shmups.
Yeah, they're
Um,
Japanese, basically. We're like, hey, these are Japanese games, and
Yeah,
maybe they
exactly.
would.
Japanese anime, Japanese games. It's so similar, so similar.
No.
Plus, you know, Toho and everything like that. Like, there's got to be some overlap. Um, so we get out there and we give basically a complicated kind of history presentation, which is also mixed with some like theoretical discussion about shmups. It came out more like a lecture than a panel presentation, and I
Yeah,
think that
someone said it was like
you know
a
we
TED
we
Talk, you know,
yeah
and we have
we
that on
did
Oh
YouTube.
yeah.
Yeah, Softrick just we were going at like a mile a minute, you know,
yeah.
like,
And
and
I think the problem was that we designed a presentation that we, as people who are already familiar with shooting games, who are already really interested and deep into the genre, we designed something that we would want to see. We were not thinking about the audience we were actually going to be presenting to. We were thinking about, you know, ourselves as the audience, and it was a great learning experience, if nothing else. Um, it you know, we definitely learned kind of what not to do again, and
which
we
was
did have some success with the demonstration at the end, but I think that overall, just the format of our panel was not what it should have been. And of course, we also had things working against us, like you know, the time slot was terrible, um, but
but
you
we
know,
at least we had
we
got
learned
in.
how to deal with
Yeah.
conventions, we learned how to deal with panels, and that was an important first step into this completely unknown territory of what the hell are we going to do trying to bring this show live in front of people when it's already a giant snafu trying to do it on the internet.
Yeah,
So
yeah, no kidding. And
yeah,
so,
seriously.
basically, I got the inspiration for this through. I'd like to name check Ray Derry and aka GS68, and Aru-san, who did a Shmups 101 at some of the anime conventions at the NorCal, and I was just like, whoa, they're doing it, and I was like, I'd love to see something like that here in SoCal. So they've kind of since not been putting on that panel still, but I have to give it up to them. Like, they're the ones that took the first leap, and I was like, why not SGG Weekly can do the same thing at SoCal conventions? So thank you, Ray Derry and GS68 and Arusan. So big ups to those guys. So so we do
And then
P- we
sorry.
do we do Pacific Media Expo. Oh yeah, well no, get in there, Soft Drink. What did you want to say?
I was going to say what was successful about PMX though was when we set up in the console gaming room. So we after our panel we went downstairs and we found out they have this big console gaming area and there's a bunch of space that's unused. And we show up and we're like, hey, can we like set up our stuff down here?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
and the people were like, sure.
the head guy was so cool. He had heard of shmups, and actually everyone was like, "Hey, I love shmups." Yes, glad you
Yeah,
guys came.
it was a really great moment because once we set up, you know, we talked about what we were there for, and the guy's like, "Oh, we have this projector that we're not using. We have this projection screen we're not using. Like, if you have VGA cables, you can hook up to that." And I'm like, "We totally have VGA cables. We can do that." So
Yeah,
we get a projector going, and we start like demoing Katsui and stuff, and then like open up this PlayStation for public people to come up and just like play whatever game they want.
yeah.
And we start getting a lot of interest. I mean, there's lots of people. There's lots of people who are watching the game. There's quite a few people who are coming up and playing, and it's it was at that point that I realized I think that shooting games, they kind of have this almost primal kind of connection with almost everybody. I mean, I think almost everyone, whether you play video games or not, whether you're kind of interested in arcade gaming or not, everyone has heard of or watched or is in some way familiar with what a shooting game is. They might not know the word shooting game or shmup or STG, but it's like, you know, you show someone Raiden or Galaga or even Toho or whatever, and people can immediately place what it is. It's incredibly easy to figure out what you're trying to do.
What you're trying to do, but more important, but also importantly, is that when people are watching, they can have the instant connection of what is going on while that player is
Yeah.
playing, and they can see, oh, these are the risks that are happening. He or she is dodging all these bullets. He's shooting these big bosses, the explosions, the music. It has an immediate effect on spectators. So.
Yeah, and so I think that was the first point at which we really became aware of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was it PMX?
Was PMX, and then what really took I was playing some Dan matches on Street Fighter 4, and I kept on telling guys like, yeah, come check our shmup setup, and then Infrared, which is a notable Godlike Scrub. You probably know more about Infrared. Like, what is he? Or
she placed top. Oh no, he got second place at Evo 2 years ago.
Yeah.
For MVC3. So yeah, he's a big fighting game player.
Big fighting game player. I don't know if he's still in the finals for Evo 2014, but he's just an amazing fighting game player. And so he comes over, and I recognize him because I had watched finals 2 years ago at Evo, and I was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, Infrared is coming to sit down and is going to play our setup? Oh my gosh! So
was that one of those like senpai notice me moments?
Yes, it was totally senpai notice me. So he comes over and sits down, and then I was like, yeah, come on and play. But I think Soft Drink, you're the one who made first contact, or you actually started showing him how to play, right?
I started talking him through it, actually. So, I noticed something which I thought was really interesting is he had really good technique for someone who'd never played a shooting game before. I mean, he wasn't just flailing back and forth. He was playing Ketsui. He wasn't just flailing back and forth. He would tap, strategically to avoid bullets that were aimed at him, and he would always expend all of his bomb stock before dying, which is something that a lot of new players fail to do. I mean, it's like as soon as he saw something, he's like, I know I can't handle this. He would just bomb, and I thought that was, and he had really good sense of like kind of control of the screen for someone who'd never played the games before. Like he was willing to move up a little bit to misdirect bullets and then come back down and move over. It was really interesting to watch. I wouldn't say he was good because he wasn't, but he kind of on an instinctual level knew what to do. And I thought, it was at that point that I started thinking that maybe there's some kind of skill overlap between oh, Plasmo's comment. It was interesting to watch because I think that there's some kind of skill overlap on a fundamental level between fighting games and shooting games. It was interesting to watch him to try that out. So I was talking to him about that for a bit. And then at the end, he was like, I just don't see how this is playable. I don't see how it's possible. And then I did a demonstration of Ketsui Stage 5, and I think I no-missed until the last boss, and he was just like, wow. So that was fun. So should we move on to ALA?
Yeah.
Or,
okay.
Do you have a couple more things you want to say about PMX?
I think that's fine. I remember we were walking to. Let's talk about ALA. So we go, hey, we got into one anime convention. Let's see if we piggyback that on. So I submit. It was kind of late, but I kind of begged and just said, hey, we were busy doing Pacific Media Expo. Could you please make an exception? We'll take any time. And luckily, we got in an Anime Los Angeles. Another horrible time slot, but still, we're trying to build a resume here. So we get to. We do Anime Los Angeles, and we're trying to reconfigure the presentation. We're like, okay, because we watched it on YouTube, right? And we were like, this is like so hardcore. It's way too dense, so hardcore, and we're trying to promote the activity, not to preach to the choir, right? So
yeah, exactly.
So basically, we try to say, okay, let's cut down the PowerPoint slides. Let's do a brief history. Let's maybe just talk a little bit about mechanics instead of like trying to compress the whole shooting history and playing in one fell swoop, right?
Yeah, and then let's amp up the demo and make it bigger and longer and more exciting, get people more interested.
Yeah.
So
So
instead of just one stage, we went from the last stage of Ketsui as our demo to the entire game, one credit clear run, as our target, and we kind of tried to bring down the presentation from the majority of the panel time to just a short chunk of it. Um,
and then trying to ask questions afterwards, right? Like
yeah, and
leaving
trying
more.
to ask questions, and during the initial part, trying to get people involved, like, what is this game? And then people be like, oh, that's Space Invaders, and so we get that feedback right away, and we get kind of a
Yeah.
rapport with the audience, which I think works really well.
And I think we
Um,
also tried to say, guys, come up and play. We're going to play for prizes. And I brought prizes to give away
yeah,
right away.
we have yet to figure out how to do that particularly well.
Mhm.
It worked at ALA because it was a small crowd, but then when we
Mhm.
were going to do it at AX, there were too many people.
Yeah.
So I think we need to have a better structure behind that, but yeah, I mean, it was definitely the right idea. Um, and then ALA, we unfortunately were not able to get into the console gaming room there.
No, that was when we.
It
It's
was
like I probably need to get someone's phone number and talk to them, like for the next anime convention. So
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of the point at which we started realizing that there's a lot of kind of logistical problems that arise when you're dealing with conventions, or really, I mean, it's not the convention's fault. It's just kind of they have a ton of stuff to keep track
yeah,
of,
they're
and
super
it was kind
busy.
of in a lot of levels, it was our own fault for not, being on top of communication as much as we could. But
Yeah.
after what happened at Anime Expo, last weekend, we've that issue has kind of come to the forefront more than ever before. So I think that going forward, we're going to try to be a lot more hands-on with our approach with convention staff. Just really try to constantly be in a in open communication with them to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, totally. I'm for that too, and it would save a lot of the volunteers and other staff's people's headaches about like waiting in line, which I fully apologize for. So well, let's go. What was better about it? We weren't able to go in the console game room, but it gave us a lot of time to sharpen our presentation. So
Yeah, and we definitely did. I mean, our presentation was a lot better. Our actual dialogue with the audience was a lot better. The demo was much more interesting. We got people a lot more invested in that. I think what was interesting to compare was PMX. We started out with a few people and we ended with like two, so people left during the presentation.
yeah,
ALA, we started with a couple people and we ended with like 16 or 20 or something. So still not a crowd, not a lot of people, but we managed to gain people during the event, and that was that was a pretty significant turnaround. So
yeah.
definitely learned a lot from that.
So, okay, so we do two anime conventions. This is like, kind of 6 months in between. And then comes the go, like, oh, SoCal Regionals. Like, let's do SoCal Regionals, which is a Godlike Scrub. Can you tell us more about SoCal Regionals? What that is?
Just the basics of what that is,
Yeah.
right? SoCal Regionals is basically SoCal's major tournament for fighting games. And so we have a lot of international players come.
Mhm.
The vast majority of the SoCal fighting game community shows up to play and compete for money, basically.
Yeah, it's one of the largest California fighting game tournaments. And,
Yeah, among SoCal Regionals and NorCal Regionals
yeah.
are two California majors, basically.
So what ended up
But we
happening?
also have what?
Oh, no, go for it. Yeah.
Um, but we also have a side room event for whoever basically wants to show up and have a setup for side tournaments. And I guess that's where you guys were propped up, right?
Hmm.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
it was an interesting thing actually. So we showed up there on Friday. We didn't start setting up until Saturday. We were only there for the one day. But we showed up on Friday, and we're like, hey, we were promised a little bit of space. They said we could come out here and maybe set up, and we might have a little bit of room to run kind of a shooting game tournament in the bring your own console room. And I was talking to a few different staff members from Level Up and trying to figure out like who I could talk to do what. And then eventually I'm just like, you know what, I just need to talk to the guy we actually spoke to. And this was Shingen, correct, Frenetic?
Yeah, that's right. He had
And so
followed our.
at one point I actually go up and ask one of the staff members, "Hey, like, I need to speak to Shingen. Who is he?" And they just kind of look at me funny, like, "What business do you, some random person here, have talking to Shingen?" It was a really interesting conversation, and I'm like, "Oh, you know, we were talking to him. We want to do a setup and bring on console, and we had spoken with him before. He's kind of our go-to guy for communication with this event." And they're like, "Okay, you know, whatever. If you want to screw yourself over, go ahead." And then he comes up and I talk to him, and you know, it goes out great. I mean, we end up being able to secure 3 tables, basically the entire back half of the console gaming room. We get a projection screen. We get space for a projector, space for 2 more setups for kind of a score competition. So we have quite a bit of stuff going on back there, and it was a great connection that we were able to make there.
Yeah, yeah,
And it was just like at PMX. I think we were able to get a lot of people to watch and to play these games because you know it just kind of resonates with people, and especially in an arcade-based environment like a fighting game tournament, people are much more familiar with these games already. And Scrub, this was how you found us, correct? Tell us a little bit about kind of your reaction to seeing the shooting games at SCR.
Oh my gosh, the shiny colors, the bullets. Like, where do I start? When I walked in, I was actually there for I remember being there for Vampire Savior, which is a old school Capcom fighting game.
Oh yeah, shout outs to Rotanabor, Rebel Up. You know, they do stuff.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Rotanabar,
yeah.
my favorite vampire player. He was setting up for that. So while the tournament was setting up late, you know, fighting game time zone is 2 hours after whatever time you say it'll start. And so I'm waiting there for like a good hour and a half. And while I'm waiting there, I see Toby playing what I'm guessing is Ketsui, now that I think about it. It could be something else. But I remember just sitting there for a little while and being like, "Oh, this is cool looking. What are these games? Oh, shmups. I played Toho before and
Yeah.
Ikaruga. These are definitely those games. Ha ha ha." And in my head, I'm like, "Why is he playing copies of Toho and Ikaruga?"
Copies. Oh, nice, nice. So
Yeah.
what it kept you? What transitioned you for like? Oh, I want to watch this to like. Oh, I can go ahead and play this and try it out for myself. So you sit down. So you go.
Oh yeah, so I go, well, first off, I didn't really, I thought it was cool what you guys had done, but since I was there for fighting games, I kind of thought like, oh, that's cool looking, back to fighting games. And so,
Oh.
yeah, see, I didn't really like, it was cool looking, but at the time I wasn't invested in it, right?
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
thought it was cool looking, left the room. But I remember talking to Toby a little while he was playing, and it was like, how do you do this magical feat that you do? And so, you know, he's just like, oh yeah, it's just, you know, dodging bullets and kicking ass and taking names basically.
Oh
And
yeah.
so he does that. He does his display of his game or whatever. And my dad, a couple weeks later, what is it? He has a knee injury basically.
Okay.
And so while I play games like Dota and stuff like that, I can't, with his injury, I'm not able to just sit there for a 30-40 minute match and help him out, right? So I needed something that I could just sit down for 5-10 minutes and play. And
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm like, oh, hey, those pretty ADD games that one white guy was playing. Let me do research. And so, you know, I install Toho again and I'm playing, and I'm like, oh, this is not so pretty. And so,
Oh. No, but you're playing Toho and you're like, oh, this is scratching that itch, right? About like,
yeah. So I'm like, oh, well, you know what? A couple years back, I remember when I first tried Toho, I read some, I guess, guides, basic guides on System 11 forums,
okay,
and I'm like, oh, I can just read up more on these things. Uh, and so I go back on the website, and I'm just like, oh, okay, what other games can I play? And so I find the SoCal Regionals thread,
Hmm.
and I'm like, oh, hey, whoever was that white guy playing, please let me know.
Oh yeah, that's
And
right.
so,
oh,
yeah,
And then I
so,
start talking to you, and I start streaming, and you're watching my streams, and yeah.
yeah, and then, you know, just, I get, what is that word? Enchanted by, like,
Oh God.
this game genre that I can pick
not
up
not
for
by
five,
soft
ten
drink per
minutes of the day.
se, not by soft drink in
Huh?
particular. Don't you mean soft drink in particular? You got enchanted by?
Yeah, but, like, at the time, I didn't know who Soft Drink was, so I was like,
Ah,
I always mentioned this, like, one white guy that I saw playing shmups that one day. So that's the running joke.
Okay, yeah, I gotcha. Well, thanks for
Um,
sharing that with us. I mean, I think that's really kind of what we were hoping for with all of these events is we want to get people engaged with these games. We want to get them to think like, I've played this before. I kind of want to try it again, and move from there. Did you let's see, what was I gonna say? I can't remember. I do think we should move on to talk about AX though, because this is
starting
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
becoming
why
a
we're here.
self-introductory stream.
yeah. So we have it set up. We know what we need to do is have a panel and also immediately following presence in the console gaming room so people do it.
Hmm.
So SoCal Regionals comes and goes. I'd like to give a shout out to Jellyman581 and Japtor for coming along,
Absolutely.
bringing
Thank you guys so
equipment.
much for helping out with that.
Yeah, I hope to see you guys at more tournaments. They were busy for AX, but it also goes to show that we need more help to put on SGG Weekly live episodes. So any help is needed. Commentators, bringing in equipment, showing people how to set.
Just
So
watching our stuff even.
yeah,
Um,
so at AX this year, we got denied last year of AX 2013, and it was pretty much only through Rocket Android, the notable Dojin localizers that I had met at Anime Expo, and I've talked to Enrique and Jay Mahler about just saying, hey guys, we'd really like to promote your games. Their games of Suguri and Acceleration of Suguri are now on Steam on July 1st, and they said, oh yeah, that's going to coincide with that release, so yes, let's put you in touch. Basically, within the space of like a week from going to talking to them, we had a panel with the time that we wanted to have and day at Anime Expo, and this was just a really big leap. Um,
yeah, it was definitely like we went from, to use like a bicycle analogy, it's like we're training wheels and then suddenly we're mountain biking. There was kind of no real gap there, but looking back on it, I can see the progression between our different events, and I think that we definitely built up to it. But at the time, it felt like, holy crap, what do we do? What do we
yeah,
even do?
yeah. Like what are we going to do? So I try to get Japter and Jellyman581. We have some false starts with some people that want to help out but aren't able to. But finally, as it comes to AX, we're able to get a crew together, which was Trap 15, right? Because I knew you went to ASEN, which is the Chicago Anime Convention, right?
Yeah.
And so I ask you, and you're like, I don't know. What's Frenetic trying to do again? He's trying to rope me into something. Because you're in Columbus at the time, right?
Yeah, yeah, and I just happened to go visit my family in San Diego, like right around then. So it was like, okay, might as well.
And Quillen B was in chat, and I was like, oh, I know he's going to Anime Expo, so I talked to Quillen B, and he goes, yeah, sure, I'll do it, but what is it? What do you guys do? And I had to explain to him, like, this XYZ, this is what's expected, and it was kind of a lot. Like, I thought it was just going to be like, oh, guys, just come up, and then I was like, as I was explaining it, I was like, oh, it's a bit more involved. So it helped me structure what we wanted to do. And then finally, Godlike Scrub, when it came time to talk to you, when you came, like, you live only about 10 minutes away from me, right? We had hung out before. And you were supposed to help out with something else, but that got canceled, right?
Yeah, I was supposed to help with Rocket Android's booth, but they unfortunately had to cancel last minute.
Oh, I mean the one before that. You were supposed to come in on someone in the console gaming room before.
Oh,
right?
yeah. I was actually supposed to work staff for AX. Like actual staff.
So...
And then that didn't happen out.
Yeah,
Sad face.
But their loss was STG Weekly's gain, so you got on board, and then finally MDL was coming in for a Vocaloid thing. He was coming in from Japan, and then he was able to get on. So it was nice seeing, because I had met MDL at past Dave K. Schmutt meets, and I was like, oh yeah, MDL, I know him. He's living in Japan, but he's coming out, so yeah, why not? So what kind of tweaks did we do to the presentation, Soft Drink? We had an hour and a half, right?
Yeah, we had an hour and a half. We had an hour and a half at ALA as well. And just like at ALA, I mean, what worked was condensing the history section and the kind of the lecture, quote unquote, portion of the presentation to be as minimal as possible, and then really blowing up the demo a lot more. And in this case, even more than we thought we would. But
you really blew it up.
Oh god, that loop. But I think the only real changes we made were we added a couple slides talking about what kind of common misconceptions with the genre, and addressing what a 1cc was. And I think that was it. Really, it was just that little bit of explanation.
Yeah. So you guys, I'm talking about Trap 15 and Justin. You got asked, and I noticed you were thinking like, no one's gonna show up, or what, or like.
Yeah, I really didn't think anybody was just gonna show up, mainly because I don't know.
It's
I
like
just didn't think anybody was just gonna show up.
It's like niche of the niche. How about you, Trap 15?
Yeah, it was pretty much like, nobody plays these games. Nobody's going to be interested. Oh, well, I might as well just have a good time at least. So.
Yeah, I think that's what was going on through everybody's head. Like, because, I don't know, before Anime Expo, or before SoCal Regionals, the amount of time that I've seen people play shmups is never.
Zero, right? Until we showed up. So I'd like to note that we were there, or I wasn't there, but we at STG Weekly had a presence there the day before, right?
At Anime Expo?
At Anime Expo, right? Setting up the
we were actually there. We were actually there all 3 days up until the only day we weren't there was Sunday.
Yeah.
So kind of, I'll just give a really quick rundown here.
Yeah.
So Thursday afternoon, I show up. I bring one console, one monitor, one arcade stick, and I go set up in the console gaming room for a few hours. And I'm figuring, okay, we probably won't get that much foot traffic today because we only have one small setup. It's hard to see. We're not in a very good spot. No, we get constant foot traffic. I think there wasn't even a single minute when that chair was not occupied by some random passerby coming up to play a game. So that was fantastic. Even better, one of the guys who comes by is, I start talking to him because I try to engage everyone like, hey, we're having a panel on Saturday. You should come by, check it out, STG Weekly. trying to, at that time we didn't have our flyers ready. So I was just like trying to advertise everything, by word of mouth.
Mm.
And one of the guys I go up and talk to says, yeah, I love shooting games. I'm actually, I'm part of the Toho community. I work a Toho themed music podcast called Gensokyo Radio. And I started talking to him for a bit. This is Joey Beta from Toho community, and he's like, you know what? And I explain what we're going to be doing here, and bring in a couple more setups the next day. And he's like, you know what? How about I help you guys out? So, he says, okay, I'll bring I have a 47-inch TV and a laptop that I can bring. So I guess I'll come at, when are you going to be here tomorrow? And I'm like, oh, we're going to be here as soon as doors open, 10 a.m. He's like, okay, I'll see you then. So he walks away, and I'm just thinking, there's no way this guy's going to bring 47-inch TV. I mean, that's just not going to happen. Next morning, and there at 9:45, I see a familiar face walking by carrying a big-ass TV. Yep, he got it out there, and so right away on day 2, we had a big Toho setup off to one side and a console setup with Xbox games, and then later on in the day, you came, Frenetic. This was Friday.
But then I brought 2 more setups.
We got 2 more setups, and so we ended up having 3 console setups, 1 big Toho setup, 2 small laptop setups. We had like a full set of like 3 tables completely filled with shooting games.
Yeah.
And once again, like I don't, very, 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 very rarely was there any opening in any of those seats. I mean, people were constantly coming down to play, and we were talking to people all the time and handing out flyers constantly. It was amazingly cool.
Yeah, it kind
of
got
lots of people to come up and watch even. So.
Watch, and you know what really was really cool? It was like we could have said to Joey Beta, like, "Fuck Toho, no, this is our space," and like, "No, don't piggyback." But no, like STG Weekly, we love Toho. We really love Toho. We love doing Toho episodes, and here's someone that said, "Hey." Totally from outside, STG Weekly scene, and said, I want to bring a setup, and we said yes. We said yes to him. He brought his setup, and then what ended up happening is we were able to join forces like Voltron, and then just Toho players would come down and just like, oh my gosh, there's a Toho setup here with a huge television. People were watching, they were sitting down. It kind of was like the hangout for Toho players, or just for Toho people in general. Like, cosplayers would come in and play. They would cycle in through the Toho fighting games, like Immaterial Power. They did Fairy Wars and like Phantasma Flower View. And I'd go over and play. They'd come over and play some of the shmups we had. Suguri was there from Rockin' Android, and like Suguri is a very different game, but people were sitting down and just like plugging away at Suguri. And they saw
a couple friends of mine played it for a solid like 4 hours straight.
Yeah.
They were just like determined to figure out the game. It was pretty fun to watch.
It was amazing. And like, as Sinistar Vision said, like, I think there's something very visceral, very fundamental. Like, people in Japanese culture kind of like gravitate to these to shmups, And so basically, what started, it kind of created this snowball effect. So Joey Beta comes in. He says, so you start seeing the Toho setup, right, Soft Drink? And people just keep on coming. How about you, Trap 15? So when you saw the Toho setup, were you just like, what?
I mean, what was your reaction, Trap? Like, I mean, you and Justin obviously didn't really expect much to happen. What did you think when you came by and saw that kind of stuff going on?
Yeah, it was like, I mean, you texted me like Thursday night or something, and we're like, yeah, this Toho guy's gonna bring like his huge ass TV and a computer with Toho on it. And I'm like, all right, yeah, I'd like to see that happen. And then I come by Friday and it's there, and I'm like, out. So that was very cool.
And people are coming and playing, and
yeah, there was always somebody on that setup. It was like, I don't recall any moment where that seat was empty at all.
People were hungry for Toho. Like, I did see maybe one other Toho setup, like in the computer gaming, but they didn't have a big television, so people are like, I'm just going to pass this up. But this big television, that Joey Beta was able to, like, I don't know, by hook or crook, fit it, haul it down from wherever he was, his home, pack it in his car, drive it to the convention. I remember he was recounting it because he was loading out in the West Hall. So you can't just like drive up your car to the convention. You have to go through the specific loading dock. And he drives up to the loading dock, and the staff are like, "What are you doing?" Like, and he's like, "I'm bringing in this television to set up in the console game room." And bless their hearts, AX staff, they're like, "Okay, this is fandom. Let's let this guy do it," instead of turning him away and saying no. So they allow him to bring this television, and me and Joey Beta are talking, and then finally we figure out that there's this Toho Con that's happening in UC Irvine, and now I'm in talks. Me and him are in talks with the Toho Con organizers to set up Toho setups and maybe do kind of a STG Weekly Toho 101 how to play thing there. So
Wait, when is this?
This is in September. So Godlike Scrub, you can come in and play some Toho, and we're gonna get a Toho set up there. Hopefully, I'm knocking on wood, and
maybe some more shmups too. But yeah,
yeah,
nice.
yeah. So we're gonna try to feature like just Dojin shmups in general, and show people how to play Toho. And yeah, it just started with this one thing of like, you can bring your TV, come and set it up.
Bring your TV. So then that was Friday, and that was like, definitely building momentum, and we got people coming by and interested in stuff, and then comes Saturday, and there's our panel.
Yeah, it's at 12:15, right?
12:15. So, that was
interesting.
Wow.
So
that was incredible.
So what's happening is we have to tear down our setups each night because there's no one really watching. I'm bringing my stuff in a suitcase with my wife, who's hauling the other suitcase, and we're taking like the Metro Blue line to and from the convention center. So this is the, big shout outs to my wife for, letting me do this. So she's hauling this big like suitcase with like all the setups in it, like most of the setups in it. And we get there, we're standing outside of was it Crunchyroll's room or whatnot?
Crunchyroll was given the panel before us.
Yeah, and so it was huge.
Oh, right.
And then they run late, which, I mean, that's fine. That happens all the time.
It's totally understandable. They just have so much response. And then
But, like, we have to, like, start getting up there, and I'm like, I'm so sorry, but we have to start setting up now.
Yeah.
And we're like, we have, I think, 30 minutes to set up between the time the Crunchyroll is supposed to get out and when we're supposed to start. And we're setting up literally the entire time and finish with less than a minute to spare. So that was pretty great. And then we had some AV difficulties at first with the signal from the console coming through purple on the projector, and we're all like, "Oh God, what's going on? This is not right."
Yeah, and we try to swap.
Big shout outs to the AV crew for getting
serious props to the AV crew.
Yeah,
we
they
needed their help there.
They were really smart. And saying as a special aside, I used to work Anime Expo 05 and 06 or 07 as an AV team. So I basically, this room that we were in I was one of the managers of a live programming room, and to be on the other side and seeing how that expertise like really plays in whether it makes or breaks a panel, So thanks, AV team.
Yeah, thank you guys. So this whole time, I have a friend of mine who was setting up cameras to film the event, and some of his other friends came in and were helping us, organize crowds, and I had another friend who was photographing the panel, and he's the guy who was responsible for these shots and everything. And I'm like, "What's the line like?" And he goes, "It's huge. Like, it's huge. It is literally going from the door all the way back, around the corner, around the other corner, and down the stairs into the outside lot." And I'm like, "You got to be kidding, right?" Well, my other friend took a camera and recorded a video of him walking the length of the line. And the video is like 1.5 minutes long. It's fantastic. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, now we're starting to get really crazy. Like, wow, what people might actually show up? I mean, look
Yeah.
at the size of this room. What would happen if people actually showed up?
So Trap 15 and Godlike Scrub. So you're seeing, and you're like this huge room that we enter in, and you're still thinking, well, maybe people are not going to show up, or you're thinking
Yeah,
people.
as soon as I heard that the line was that long, I was like, oh man, this is a lot bigger than I thought it would be. And it was pretty hype.
The hype moment for me was like when people started walking in, and I'm like, oh god, we're actually okay. There's people. Oh hey, all right, is that the end of the line? Nope. Oh hey, more people. Oh god.
Yeah, it just kind of went on
like,
and on,
filled up,
and
like,
it
half
really
the
didn't
room.
strike me until right then. Like, we might actually have a lot of people come see this.
And then I saw
Yeah.
like a group of people that I knew from like fighting games. I'm like, why are you guys here?
Oh,
What do you guys want with me?
what did they say? Like,
Well, I guess somebody threw it up on the on some Sure You Can forum, and so when people were like, I guess reading up on the events for the tournaments there,
mhm.
they also saw that there was a STG panel going on, and so they all went to that. And I'm like, oh hey guys, I know you. What do you guys want?
So
So that was cool. They were really interested. Like a lot of people from the groups that I normally hang out with were really, really impressed by this panel.
Oh yeah, what did they say? What they liked about it, or
That Ketsui run that we could talk about later.
oh, okay,
I actually do have a little bit of video uploaded. It just finished processing, and I
okay,
posted a link in the chat log on our Skype connection here. So
okay,
you can go ahead and play that when we get to it.
okay. Let me start.
Also,
seeing.
you lost the chat in the stream video in the stream feed.
Oh,
It's showing Shmups forum right now.
okay. Let
So.
me get that link real quick.
Yeah, and so I guess let's just start talking about how it went. We started doing our presentation, and I don't think a lot of you guys have seen the presentation that we have. But basically, it opens with a screenshot of the hardest video game boss ever video from YouTube, and I think that was a pretty good way to kind of break the ice with the audience. I was like, hey, how many of you guys are familiar with this? And then everyone's like, you know, they all kind of start laughing. So I think it was a good way to kind of open it up, because we really, I think a lot of people are very familiar with that.
Okay, bear with me. Sorry, chat. I'm trying to queue up the video here, so I'm going to do that real quick.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so but keep on talking. I'll let you know when I'm ready.
And then we go into a little bit of an opener and talk about kind of basic parts of shooting games. There's like, player that can move around and shoot things, enemies, and the ability to shoot. And that's kind of how you define a shooting game in the most basic sense. And I kind of show that evolution throughout the whole history of the genre. Talk about, different games like Galaga, Raiden, Strikers 1945, Donpachi, Batsugan, and explain kind of how everything gets sort of codified at each progressive step. There's like an evolution, and you can see how we go from, Space Invaders to Mushihime-sama Futari Ultra Mode. Like, there is a progression there. It is a very complicated progression, but it is a progression. And then Trap 15 and Quilin and MDL and Justin all had some insight that they dropped in through that.
Do we have the panel up online yet?
No, we don't, but we do have a little bit of video that's going up right now. So
Yeah.
We have so much video that I have not had time to sort through it all. My friend managed to get 3 separate cameras recording the entire panel. So we have 90 minutes times 3, plus other footage from before and after the panel as well. And I have not had more than an hour of free time a day. So, and most of that's been spent relaxing because AX was pretty stressful.
Yeah.
It was amazing. It was amazing. But it was really damn stressful. I mean, so much stuff went nearly catastrophically wrong there.
Okay, so I'm going to play the video, guys. So
yeah, go ahead. So this
Yeah.
is kind of the last 5 minutes of the run. This is the clear moment and the loop moment, and my friend got it all on a hand cam, and he actually catches my face as I realize that I loop, and it's pretty hilarious.
Okay, so
So
here. Okay.
just a very quick preface. So
Okay, yeah.
we capped off the panel with a live 1 credit clear attempt at Ketsui, and it ended up not just being a 1 credit clear attempt, but I actually looped the game for the first time ever live in front of like 100 people or 150 people or something at AX, and just watch the video. It's pretty fantastic.
Yeah, it's really, really good. Let me get into HD. And so what happens is we're doing the commentary. So that's Trap 15 MDL and myself. And so you're going to see something special happen, and watch it as it unfolds. So I'm going to start the video. 3, 2, 1. So you're going to watch the Twitch replay, right? So I'm not going to comment. You guys comment. So.
All right, just give us a countdown here. Does everyone else have the video open?
He already did the countdown,
Oh,
I think.
okay. Can you give me a timestamp?
I'm at 20.
Yeah. Oh wait, are you queuing it from the video, from the play? Here, I'll pause it again. Okay, do you guys have it queued up on YouTube?
It's fine.
Okay, alright, let's restart then. Okay. Alright, I'm at 00. Do you guys have it all queued up with that link?
Yep.
Oh,
Okay.
I do now, yeah.
Okay. Alright, 3, 2, 1, click.
So this is Ketsui Stage 5, for those who kind of can't tell. I know that the focus on the screen isn't that best, but right now we're just approaching the second set of helicopters right before the final boss of the first loop.
It's really good. And sometimes the stage 5s are longer than the other stages.
And Ryan, do you have game audio going through? Or I guess YouTube video audio going through?
Yeah, I'm playing it, so it should be getting from the speakers. Yeah.
Because
for this loop, yes, I know.
yeah, because the chanting is going to start in a couple minutes, so.
Okay, guys, I want you to chant Soft Drink's name, okay? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Soft Drink. Soft
God,
drink,
Kinetic, that's not nerve-wracking.
Soft drink, soft drink,
Yeah, when you were like, let's do this, I was like, oh no, man, you're going to distract him. He's not going to do it.
You did distract me. The reason that I died twice is because I finally heard you guys a couple minutes later, and I started freaking out.
Yeah, but then when it started going, I was like, oh, whatever.
He's like, shut up, guys.
I'm just like, I don't even know what's going on. I'm just
God, Frenetic. If I was up there, I'd punch you.
Oh! So is that when you started hearing us?
Yeah, that's what I started hearing. It was like right there when I died twice. And I'm just like, oh shit! But the greatest moment is coming up right here. You just got it. Watch my reaction.
Second loop! Is this the second loop? He's got to the second loop! I've never seen this before.
And like nobody even knows what to do. You're just like, oh crap, did you just loop?
And he's done it for you guys live here at STGWeekly. Here's your rocket and rotate. You're going to see the second loop here. How far can you get?
So the loop.
I love Frenetic when he MC it. This is hilarious.
Like, just feeding the game on 1 credit will not instantly get you into the loop. For
This is Trap 15, by the way.
The Omote loop, it's the easier of the two,
and it requires you to use less than, I believe, 7 combined.
Yeah, so this was the first time that I'd
bars.
ever made it into the loop, and we got to do it live
There's a
in
harder
front of a
loop
crowd
called
like that.
the
I mean,
core
it
loop,
was just
which requires
it was
no
seriously
bombs and
unreal.
no
Like
bets. And the
I
score over
literally had dreams in which this happened, and I was like, there is no way that this will ever be my life, and then it happens, and just what even? What even? It was so crazy, and people in the crowd, I mean, everyone loved it. Like, oh god.
Did you ever figure out the requirements for a multi-loop?
I think it's lives plus deaths less than 6, right?
Thought it was 7, but maybe
Oh, okay, maybe it's less than 7. Whatever.
All throughout the afternoon and also the early evening. But watch this is crazy. I've never.
Yeah, so it was just completely unreal, and I mean this whole loop run I'm playing completely blind. I don't think I'd ever even watched any play of a multi-loop, so I had no idea what was gonna happen. And I make it to 2-3 in the end, and the whole time I just have this like huge ass shit-eating grin on my face because I'm just like, oh god, this is just crazy. I can't believe that happened. So yeah, it was amazing. And I'm so glad that I was able to pull a run like that out of my ass. Just really, it was. I don't know how. I mean, I think in that weekend, I had a total of like 12 hours of sleep that weekend over the course of 4 days. And that's not even counting the fact that, like, leading up to that, I had really stressful class and work schedule as well. And I think. Literally, this was like the 4th shooting game run that I had played in the last 3 weeks prior to that, with the preceding 3 being practice runs at AX. Like, I didn't even have time to start practicing Katsui until I showed up at AX on Thursday. And yet this comes out, so that it was amazing, and I'm so happy I was able to do something like that.
Super crazy, super. That was really great. That was really cool.
I like how like right after that, for like 10-15 minutes, we're like, oh my god, what just happened?
Yeah, I mean, like nobody even knew.
And everybody was like stunned.
Yeah, that was. Well, yeah. Look, so guys, you can make this happen at your conventions. I hope you guys will try making this happen at your conventions. And yeah, we got STG Weekly, Mirrored, and STG Weekly. So please, bring your setups. You guys have portable setups. Bring them to the conventions, to fighting games, anime conventions. It's just really fun. It's really fun.
Ryan, do you realize that you're streaming like the video feed into the video feed?
Oh no! Oh shit!
Yes.
Okay,
You're the best, Ryan.
Oh, okay, there we go. All right. I'm sorry. It's STG Weekly. It's STG Weekly here. Oh, man. Okay.
You're the best, and don't let anybody else tell you otherwise.
So guys, do you have any questions from the chat or something? Maybe,
yeah,
or
please give us questions. By the way, total attendance we're estimating at somewhere near 200. We printed 200 flyers total. We managed to give away every single one of them. And that room has a maximum occupancy of like, I think between 500 and 670 people.
Yeah.
And we got it like half full at times. So I mean, I think we had a pretty serious turnout. It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was really wonderful to see that.
Counted,
be a part of that.
Didn't we count at least like 3? I thought we had a count. I was told 300.
You were told 300?
Yeah.
Wow.
Holy
I was told at least 300
That's awesome.
by the staff.
Wow. Oh man, that's just unreal. Holy shit.
So,
man.
yeah, look at the crowd. So, do you guys have any last thoughts? Like, oh, Plasma says you rock. Yeah.
Thank you, Plasma. Coming from you, that means a lot to me. Thank you, man.
Trap 15, like, so what did you think when you got to the second loop? Like, I'm glad you took over and like were able to say like what was going on, because I was like, I don't know.
What now?
Oh, narrate. I would love to do something in NorCal. Getting my stuff up there is a big problem because I don't have a car. But I don't know if there's any kind of events going on later this summer. In late August or throughout September, please let me know. I would absolutely love to go do something.
There's the California Fighting Game Major if you guys want to. It's West Coast Warzone. They're doing another
That's cool.
California tournament.
I'm down with that. I need to go email them then.
Yeah, let's get on that. Holy shit! All right. But yeah, as you were saying, Trap.
No, I was asking Frenetic what he asked me because I didn't hear it.
Oh, so when soft drink looped, what were you thinking? Because you basically were able to take over and like do commentary for the second loop. Like,
I would say I decently know how the second loop works, so I figured I'd pick it up. But it was ridiculously surprising because I'm pretty sure Soft Drink had told me that he'd never broken the loop before either. So it was very surprising and very awesome to see.
Yeah, I had a lot of runs that got really, really, really close. I mean, I think I've gotten like I've cleared with lives plus bombs equals 7, like maybe a dozen, 2 dozen times. So I've gotten really close a lot, but I've never had a run like that. And
it was
I literally no missed until the final boss of the first loop. I didn't even know I was capable of doing that until that run.
I think we've kind of set a new bar of like shmup playing, which is like playing shmups live in front of an audience, like Stunfest, which I think people could be a really new dimension of shmups, people playing shmups live in front of an audience and like saying that's like kind of a neat live demo test of. So I encourage you guys that are playing to get out there and make the panel, play live, play live in front of people.
If any fans of STG Weekly or any of our frequent viewers, if you guys want to do something like this, we have materials that we can give you. We have all kinds of support that we can give you. Please talk to us. I will make you flyers. I will make you posters. I will do everything I possibly can. Yeah, I mean, just talk to us. We would love to help anyone who wants to do something like this, even if we can't be there ourselves. We will give you any kind of support that we can.
Yeah. So send us. You can find us on Shmups Forum or email us on the YouTube page. Do a comment. Like we just want to get this out there.
Or on Facebook.
Yeah.
So we're all over the place. One other thing, Frenetic, did you mention when you were gonna talk about raffle winners here?
Yeah. So we've got codes from Rock and Android. Thank you for their generous codes. We put out a mailing list, and I'm going to be emailing the winners of the raffle drawings. Either today, probably later today. And so it's really neat. Contact like Rock and Android and U Media are really awesome to give codes out. And then, or maybe you can just have different prizes that you have stuff laying around and put it out there.
Okay, so you just meant today, like not on the air, but just today in general. My bad, sorry.
Yeah.
On another note, we do actually have some leftover posters from the event, which have been signed by a large chunk of the crew. So we have, I think, about 10 posters which have been signed by me, Frenetic, Trap, and Godlike Scrub. And we are happy to sell those to you guys. I don't know how much for. I mean, seriously, just like give me shipping and like $1, and I will give them to you. So we'll post about that on the forum. But we have some posters left over. If anyone wants one, just let me know. They're pretty sweet. They're printed on 80-pound matte cover stock. They came out beautifully. I worked with a professional print shop that I've gone to several times before. So these are the really nice ones. And we have a few of those left over.
My mom has mine framed.
Oh, seriously?
Like, oh my god, Justin! Oh my god, you're popular again.
Yeah.
Thanks.
That's awesome.
I like to hear that.
And
That's good.
Narrate, where do you get the STG Weekly shirts? Well, now, this was actually
Oh,
the
yeah,
initial
those
prototype
fabulous
run of the shirts. They came out pretty damn well, so there's no problems with the print production. And what we're gonna do is open up a full size order. It's gonna be through Ellert Michael. We're probably going to advertise it on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and associated media as well. But we're going to have a full-size order for shirts coming up relatively soon, now that we know that there's no problems with production. So they came out great. Huge props to Ellert Michael for that and for getting
Yay,
them to us
Ellert
on
Michael. Yeah, definitely on time.
time. Yeah, it should be pretty great. We're aiming for a price of like $25 to $30 shipped, but don't quote me on that. We haven't really looked at the deeper logistics of it, but I think we can probably make that work pretty easily, at least for people within the U.S. So
Yeah. So on that note, do you guys have any parting words for our recap? It looks like people have been really receptive to our kind of podcast hanging out, so maybe we should think about doing something like this in the future where it's not so, we have
it's
something
not an
else to
episode so
offer.
much as it is just kind of talking. Yeah.
Talking, and maybe we'll have different guests, maybe an interview format where we interview just players from the community, like spotlight on, let's say, if Narrate or EKMBR would like to talk or something, maybe we
Or
could do that.
Jamers or something. Yeah, that would be interesting.
If you guys, we might just have a roundtable. It's like, guys, give me your Skype IDs. Let's sit down and just share about shmups.
Well, I think there's been some discussion of having a roundtable STG Weekly episode as one of our kind of anniversary episodes, so like as 75 or 100 or something.
Oh, okay.
Where we would just bring everyone together who's ever been on the show in one giant chat.
Oh, I like that.
That would be kind of amazing.
Yeah.
I think it would be crazy, but also pretty awesome.
Yeah. We could do
You guys
interviews.
would definitely need a moderator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so something in the works. So you might see SGG Weekly, roundtable, something like Shmup Philosophy.
Shmup Philosophy, Shmup Theory. That could be pretty
Shmup
cool.
Theory.
Yeah, Narrate, you're so boring.
Yeah.
Get out of here. What the fuck are you doing here, Narrate?
Guys, keep on sending those ideas on Twitter or reach us on the System 11 Shmups forum. We'll probably try to have some more maybe Shmups podcasts in the future. So, or Shmup podcast, something. So any questions from the chat? Any?
Oh yeah, please questions.
Yeah, questions, comments. We'll let it go for a little bit.
Yeah, we'll give you guys a couple minutes. I guess closing words. I'm amazed at what has happened with this. I mean, when we started doing these STG Weekly live events, it was like, this is cool. I don't think it's ever going to go anywhere, but it's cool. And now we just finished it, like 300-person panel at Anime Expo, and people loved us so much that security literally had to kick people out of the room because everyone was like standing around waiting to talk to us. So it was unreal. I mean, it was completely unreal.
Didn't people take pictures with you?
How far we've come.
Yeah,
there was a guy. There was a guy who came up to me afterwards, and he's like, "Hey, I went to your panel. It was amazingly cool. Can I have a poster?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure. If you went to the panel, just take a fucking poster. I don't even care." And then he's like, "Hey, can I have a picture with you?" And I just like froze for a second. I'm like, seriously? I'm nobody. I am nobody. And this guy's like, "Can I have a picture with you because of your panel?"
It was like you were a rock star, like
yeah,
right?
It felt
like
amazing. It was like this is a convention where there's literally world famous people, like incredibly famous people, and he wants to take a picture with me. It was unreal. It was completely unreal, and I think that everyone who was there for this event felt kind of the same way. I mean, none of us expected it to go as well as it did, and I think everyone's completely blown away by just how far we've come. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what else we can do. I mean, after this, can do anything, I think. Yeah, sky's the limit. And let's just keep on moving forward. So again, thanks Trap15 and Godlike Scrub for coming on, and we'll hope to have you at more.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, maybe we'll have more STG Weekly live events. If you come on down, we'll do this again.
I will be there. All right, guys.
All right.
Thanks.
All right.
All right, thanks everyone so much for watching.
Thanks for watching this instead of World Cup. Let's get back to World Cup.
Oh, damn it, World Cup.
World Cup and
It
Evo.
started 2 hours ago. God.
All right. Peace, guys.
All right,
STG
later,
Week.
everyone.
See ya.